Absolutely phenomenal Friday morning, guys. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Shaan East, as always, flanked by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. Bobby Jackson, can you hear me? I see that I'm frozen, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay,
well, Coach. I can hear
that's
you
all that
well.
matters. That's all that matters. As long as you guys can hear me clearly. Yes, exactly. I knew that was going to fix, guys. Listen, the energy over here is electric, so we might shut down the system. We might
Yep.
shut down the system. That might happen. It's okay. Technological disruptions exist as long as you consist and persist. Things do exist. Like everything is real. Bad things sometimes show up. You cannot allow it to interfere with your energy, especially on this phenomenal Friday, guys. Bobby Jackson, how you feeling this morning, man?
I'm feeling amazing. Looking for that register that I can talk in. That's going to give me good clarity as we go through the call. But maintenance, very important. Preparation, very important. And grind, grit, dedication, also very important. Coming to the calls. So I'm feeling phenomenal. It's Friday.
Good, good, good. Listen, guys. So we got Bradley Hoover on the call. I just want to shout out some phenomenal people that have been following us for a while, guys. Listen, if you're present, like put your comments in the chat. Let me know that you exist. Don't be a stranger. Let us know that you exist, right? So we got Bradley Hoover, a regular. Thank you so much for the support. LaWarner Bradford, a regular. Thank you so much for the support. Travis, the leader. Let's go. Let's go. For you guys who do not know, we got some phenomenal people on this call. We got some phenomenal people on this call. And I just want to literally recognize people because it's not all about me, guys. I don't have all of the answers. I'm constantly in search of all of the answers, all of the resources, but I don't have all of the answers. So every time somebody shows up and comes into a program or exists or coexists with us, we learn from them as well. We learn from them as well. Do not think that your presence is understated. Don't think that your presence is understated or undervalued, right? If you can, put your name up, not the name of your business so much. We create personal brands here. You want to have a personal touch with people. So I tell people all of the time, they want to do business with a who, not a what. Brand you, not what you do. This is the show where you're going to get actionable, real, practical, and applicable tips to build your business, build your brand for free. You get more here for free than you get for a fee. You just don't understand. I've been told this multiple times. This is not just me saying it. This is what you're telling me consistently. I've had people sit with me for maybe an hour, maybe follow me for 2 weeks on the Breakfast with the Brand and say that we got more here than we did out of the last 2 years in programs. I won't mention leaders. I won't mention what programs they were. However, you're in the right place right now. That's all I want to say. You're in the right place right now at the right time. So again, look, LaShawn Charles, thank you so much for following. You are recognized and appreciated. We recognize and appreciate the people that follow us, that show support. Tia Rogers, thank you so much for the love and the support and consistency. Tia is consistent. Be consistent. I believe that we're going to go to a break, but I want you to understand something and write this part down. Consistency plus intensity equals invincibility. Consistency plus intensity equals invincibility. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. We'll be right back. Let's grow. There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 plus 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 plus 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 plus 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 plus 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So just like I feel very grateful this Friday, right? So this might be a gratitude. I want you to understand that your gratitude and your attitude will dictate your aptitude. Your aptitude, your ability to grow will come from your appreciation of what you've already been given. I believe that with much blessings come much responsibility. One of those responsibilities is to recognize the blessings that you've already been given, right? Because think about it. We want more blessings. We want more sales. We want more clients. We want more customers. We want more business. But if we don't appreciate and recognize the business that we're already getting, then why would we be given more? There was a phenomenal gentleman we had on a couple of days ago while I was in hiatus, Joel Smith. And Joel Smith talked about stewardship. And that's the word that came to my mind as I was giving the gratitude piece. Like, you want to be a steward, a proper steward of the blessings that you're being given consistently so that you'll be worthy of getting more. So I want to recognize LinkedIn because LinkedIn gave me the top leadership voice. I don't know if you guys are familiar with badges and whatnot, but LinkedIn, I've been striving for that too, right? I always talk about changing the face of leadership. Why? Because leadership needs to be more service oriented, more servant oriented, more sacrifice oriented, more authentic, more genuine, more given, more diverse. More diverse. I remember when I was younger and I was in college, and when the thought of leadership came to my mind, the face that came with the thought didn't look like mine. When the thought of leadership came to my mind, the face that came to my mind didn't look like mine. Thank you so much, Bradley. I greatly appreciate that. Like, I appreciate recognition. Everybody does. So I want to appreciate you and appreciate everyone that shows up and does the work, because it's in doing the work that the work gets done. It's in doing the work that the work gets done. And every one of those pieces of paper have a lot of years attached to it. Everything that you guys have done, I always say you got the education, experience, and expertise. I always say we've got all of the competence in the world, but we need to match the competence with our confidence. We need to show up like we mean it. We need to say it with our chest and stand erect with our spine and be able to be proud of our accomplishments and state what we've done. And when we say our price, we should add a zero to it. Say it with dignity, integrity, self-respect, and stand on it.
I like the idea of being a good steward of what you have, because I am experiencing a lot of interesting things with the voice and with the body, and I get to ask myself the question: were you a great steward of your voice? Were you a great steward of your body and all the different things that go into the importance of being able to deliver quality on demand? So this is a very humbling experience for me, because I always pray that every morning. I say, Father, keep me hungry, keep me humble. Keep me hungry and keep me humble. He said, okay, great. Take your voice. Go out there and make something happen. So this is super humbling, because now I know, guys, you have no idea how hard it is to close a deal without your voice. But trust me, I'm making it happen. I'm on the other side of these calls making it happen. And I just want you guys to think about this as you're going through the process of developing yourselves. Is, do you have a self-care regimen, and do you have a coach that's helping you to rehabilitate when you inevitably injure yourself during the growth process? It's inevitable, because you don't grow without pain and stress.
Very good. Very good. So one of the things that I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to let you fail, right? As a matter of fact, I'm going to push you towards failure. I am going, as your coach, as your mentor, as your guide on this leadership quest, on this personal branding quest, on this business dominance quest. I am going to push you to failure, because it's through the failure that we find our success. It's through the failures, guys. I failed horribly, tremendously in school first time around. Tremendously. Terrible student. Terrible. I promise you, I was a nightmare for my schools. Not just for my teachers, for my entire educational institutions. I was a horror. I was the kind of kid where they'd be like, I hope Shaan doesn't show up today, because I was very disruptive. Now I get paid for being very disruptive. What I did, guys, was I had challenging thoughts. I had challenging thoughts, but I learned it was through that failure. It was through those failures, and I've got a lot of them, that I found out what success really looks like. So the quicker you can fail, the quicker you get to success. So I'm going to push you. I'm going to throw you right into the deep end. But look at Bobby's success. Look at Bobby's success. 400% revenue. Year after year after year, consistently. Just look at it. Like, that's what it produces. That's what failure produces. That kind of success, that kind of pushing, that kind of close relationship. Where I'm going to say, you're not doing enough. Nope, you're not doing enough. No, sir, you're not doing enough. No, ma'am, you're not doing enough. Get out there. Get out there. Do more. Show up more. Coach more, give more. Look at me, guys. I'm giving you an example of what it looks like. Shaan, should I give away free? I don't know. Look at me. What if I give them too much, Shaan? I don't know. Look at me. Well, when do I sleep? I don't know. Look at me. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. You got to find it. You got to find it. What's my gift? I don't know. Look at me. Should I stay here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But if I'm always on the road, make enough money to take your family with you. That's my advice. You want a speaking career? Make enough money to take your family with you, because the people you leave at home, they will feel left. They will feel left. Those of you who say my family means everything, but I'm trying to build a business where I travel all the time, and I'm going to these different resorts, and I'm going to these different conventions. Okay. Maybe it works for you. I don't know. But I'm the type of person who brings people with me. I'm the type of person who shows people what it looks like. That's why I open the hood and let you guys look under the hood all the time, every single day, 7 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard, consistently. Because just like I signed off on before the first break, consistency plus intensity equals invincibility. That's why I'm impervious to assault or insult, because I give too much. Do you understand? Like, a person can feel any kind of way. Oh, Shaan is loud. Shaan is abrasive. Shaan is, how do you say, aggressive sometimes. I've been called aggressive. I don't know why. Could you believe that? Could you believe somebody would call me aggressive? Okay, coach, would I please gift the listeners with a piece on the paradigm shift? Yes, sir. It's not about you. It's not about you. So Travis, I'm so glad that you asked me that. If you guys get the book, the first book I wrote, The 7 Prerequisites to Success, you'll read a whole chapter on it, right? You've never seen it. The first book that I wrote, The 7 Prerequisites to Success, the 4th chapter is a prerequisite to success, and it's called Paradigm Shift. The reason I'm still in college is because my education isn't about me. One of the first things that I learned in college was that my communication could be perceived the wrong way. I took an assessment. And my self-assessment, I didn't know I was a high D, high I. I didn't know what a high D or high I was, right? So this is a paradigm shift. I finally learned that I could be misperceived. So when I realized that I could be misperceived, I began to tweak my communication. And when I began to tweak my communication, my relationships got better. My relationships literally got better. As a matter of fact, when I learned it, I said, okay, this is why people feel this way when I raise my voice individually. Now it works on stages because I'm speaking to the back of the room. And it works sometimes in negotiation because people can feel the energy and the power and the purpose and my commitment and dedication and belief in what I'm saying. However, if we're having a conversation, like if we're in the house and you do something wrong and I raise my voice, it can be perceived as threatening. It can be perceived as condescending. It can be perceived as insulting. So I learned that it was my second term in college, guys. It was my second term, Bobby. And I've been in a lot of like failed relationships, but I didn't want this relationship to fail. So I tweaked my communication. And when I tweaked my communication, my relationship got better. My ability to persuade got better. My ability to influence got better. And I said, okay, I can't stop getting better. Because where I grew up, I realized that where I grew up had some negative connotations. Some things that I brought along with me did not work. So I realized that I had to work on me. I didn't just have to work on the degree. You understand? Like I really did. I realized, so that's an example of a paradigm shift. I realized that I didn't just have to work on the degree, I had to work on me. And let me just tell you guys, this is the result of it. I've never left college yet. I'm still there to this day because I still have work to be done. That's what learning is. It's lifelong. And as soon as you think you've got enough, you're in trouble. As soon as you really think you graduated and you're done, you're in trouble. As soon as you become comfortable in your competence, the finish line is close. Bobby said something. He said, stay humble and stay hungry. It was really in the educational process and through that initial that discovery process that I took and that initial assessment that I took where I realized it wasn't external. They have two different kinds of locus of control. They have an internal locus of control and the external locus of control. And I realized then that my internal locus of control could impact my external locus of control. If I worked on me, then the rest of the things in the world would work for me.
Working on me. And that's one of the biggest things that I think, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of the words. I was having this conversation with myself yesterday about everything that I have is a direct reflection of who I am. So if I want more, then I need to become more because my environment is a direct reflection of my last 6 months. So when I look at where I want to be, what I want to do, how I got to X amount of monthly recurring revenue, I have to say to myself, what do I have to do? Double it. And then I was like, okay, maybe I have to double me. Like I have to double my intensity, double my consistency, double my value delivery. And all of those things bring me back to where I am right now, because I was in the gym and I started following this guy. I don't know his name, but he's an old dude. And he used to be a bodybuilder. And what he said when he would train people is, you only need 1 set. You don't need 3 sets. You don't need 4 sets. You need 1 set to maximum failure. And you need that 1 set to hit so hard that when it hits, that's him. When it hits, that you're like, ah. And I started moving to that because I'm in a bulking phase now. So I'm still in the gym, but I'm not doing 4, 5, 6 sets. Why do I say all of this before we go to the break? It's because you just need to do the right thing with enough exertion to tap out. And you don't have to do it 15 different times to grow. You just got to tap out that one time. And when you tap out that one time, it should shock the body, the nervous system, and all of you. Like, this ain't gonna happen again like this, because my body's being trained that, oh, I'm gonna talk through it. You still gotta show up. So it's just like any other muscle. I hit it so hard that the next time I'm in this position, my body's like, oh, we better speak, because this is what we do. And that's the mentality you got.
Again, with the stewardship piece, right? So I've told Bobby the entire time, I told him a long time ago, like years ago, water, hydration, consistency. And what happens is you'll get comfortable in your competence to that degree. You'll hit a certain level and you'll be like, okay, great. This amount of money is enough. This amount of water is enough. This amount of exercise is enough. This amount of sleep is enough. And it will work for that space. But when you move into another space where more is required of you, if you haven't properly conditioned yourself for where you want to go, you'll never get there. That's a pin moment, guys. Let me pick up the expensive one. That's a pin moment. If you don't properly condition yourself, if you don't make the investments in yourself and in the world, if you don't make the investments for where you're trying to go, you'll never get there. Because what do they say? They say that he won't put a burden on you greater than you can bear. That's true. So you got to push yourself to the places where you want to go before you get there, or you'll never get there. Because it will break you. So you got to prepare for where you're trying to go before you know what I call it? I call it setting the table. That's what I call it. I call it setting the table. So people are like, well, why were you up this morning so early? Why were you running? I'm setting the table. Why don't you lose your voice, Shaan? I've set the table a long time ago to be able to speak for years, months, and days. Why are you still in college? I'm setting the table for the conversations and discussions that I need to have 2, 3, 5 years from now. Why do you make such huge investments? I've set the table so that failure it's not even an option for me, for my mind, for my body, for my relationships. I do stress tests consistently. I fail in private so that I succeed in public. Guys, you don't understand. A matter of fact, we're going to go to a break. I just want you to absorb what I just said. I fail in private. Then I come and tell you and share with you because I care enough to let you know that it does happen. But I fail in private so that I succeed in public. And if you're not pushing yourself behind the scenes to the point of failure and beyond, you'll never know what success looks like when you're on camera. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Shaan Rais. I'm proud. Shaan Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Shaan, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Guys, you want to do this enough. You want to do this enough so that when someone else begins to speak on something, you know what they're talking about. So Bobby spoke on something and forgot the name of the person who originated it, but I knew the name of the person who originated it. And that didn't come because I Googled it while he was talking. That comes because when I was 9 years old, my father gave me an encyclopedia of bodybuilding, and I learned Mike Mincer's 1-rep method. Now, I was chased out of the YMCA since I was 7 years old. So when I hit 9, my father was like, this guy's pretty serious. I better show him the right way to do it, because he's going to hurt himself because he's determined. And he's going to get in there and he's going to pick up some weight. So I better show him how to do it the right way. What am I saying? I'm saying that perseverance will incur assistance. Perseverance will incur assistance. The universe will say, this guy's going to hurt himself. I better send him some resources. And those resources will come through a coach, come through a parent, come through a book, come through a coach, come through a video. It will work for you guys if you will work it. I guarantee it. That's what I wanted. Like, one of the main reasons why I do this is to encourage you to take risks. You don't have to work with me. You don't have to work with me, but work with somebody. And if you go hard enough, someone will work with you, but you got to get your capacity inside of a container. You've got to get your capacity inside of a community with someone who knows what they're doing, so that you don't waste more time and more money than you will if you don't. Because you're going to get older anyway. You're going to get older anyway. The world is going to continue to turn. And if you don't put your gift, if you don't put your energy in the right channel so that you can be effective, then you're going to be ineffective. And if you are ineffective, you're going to feel unfulfilled. There's a gift that only you have. There's a knowledge that only you, there's a brand that only you can give birth to. It's not mine to give. We both speak. Me and Bobby both speak, but we don't speak the same. Me and your favorite speaker both speak, but we don't speak the same. What does that mean? There's room for everybody. I don't understand what the word, I compete with yesterday. I make this breakfast with the brand better than yesterday's breakfast with the brand, but I don't look at what anyone else is doing and say, I've got to do better than them. I wish everyone the best. I want the best for everybody. I support everybody. Trust me, when I tell you I support everybody, like whoever your favorite guy is, like we're probably on speed dial. This is how serious I am about what I do. I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. My competition exists from 4 o'clock in the morning to from about 3 o'clock in the morning to about 5:37. After that, I'm helping people all day. All day. My last version is my competitor, best competitor too. He keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. I'm really moved by the process. I found myself in prayer this morning and I'm just like, man, look at the process. It's all necessary. They say all things work for the good of those who trust and are called according to their purpose. Now there's more to it. It says trust the Lord, but hey, you take it for what it is. And really, how I feel right now is like there's no way that I would have found this out about myself had I not pushed myself. There's no way I would have found out that I had this extra gear if I didn't put myself in a place to need the extra gear. And I'll leave you guys with this. Creativity oftentimes comes in moments where you don't know what to do. I feel like a lot of people try to be creative when they have all the answers and all the resources and all the time in the world to make the decision. But I found that it's when I don't have the resources, I don't have the time, I don't have the luxury, that I'm the most creative. And that I think is worth acknowledging in your process. So no matter where you are in your process, understand that the more creative you become, the more ingenuity that you apply to your destiny, the more character, in my personal experience, you develop. And I think it's that character development process that allows you to sustain at the highest levels. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because you're all growing and scaling, and I know it because you're here with Breakfast with the Brand.
Very good. So a lot of you might be wondering, why does Shaan have Bobby here if Bobby can't speak? Like if his voice is gone, why is he here? He's here because he's learning. And the best place to learn is under extreme fire, under duress, live. This is why we don't script. I've been asked, I've been pleaded with by family. Shaan, you should pre-record. Anything can go wrong. You should pre-record your sessions. Why do you go live when you're live? Like it doesn't make sense. You don't have to do that. You could pre-record it. It'll still look like it's live. It'll still look like it's live. And then you can come back and you can respond to comments. But I believe that the best test is under duress. And the best time to prepare is in a real live situation. I don't script. And I don't script because I want to give you my most authentic, most genuine, most up-to-date thought. I believe that time is sacred. Very, very sacred. I don't waste mine. I won't waste yours. I ask you not to waste mine, right? So when I get like clients who want to do like, okay, so let me give you an example. I was at an event recently and I was explaining a little bit of the services that we provide. And the woman asked me, do I do one-on-ones? And I said, yes, I do, but probably not at a price that you can stand right now. So I told her, I said, come through what Bobby just said, the process. It's a process. You see that link down there? That's where the process begins. I gave her the link. I said, look, this is the beginning. Like, this is the entry point. Come through here, then you'll come through the leadership leverage, then you'll come through what we call high performance consulting, and then we can, because by that time you'll have enough revenue. You'll have enough revenue, you'll have enough capacity to really like understand the concepts that I use. Because when I say brand you, not what you do, you might not hear exactly what I'm saying if you haven't been through that course, if you haven't gone through that course of study. You know what it's kind of like, Bobby? It's kind of like someone being asked to write a dissertation during their associate's degree. It's kind of like giving someone a dissertation to do when they're entering college or when they're in their bachelor's or their first undergrad. You know, they're going from associates to bachelor's, and you say, here, write a thesis. Or do you know what an annotated bibliography is? They're not going to know. So when you come here, like, this is free. This is the offering. However, even on this call, concepts can get a little deep and thick, right? So I want you to understand, like, some of us are being given a higher level understanding for situations that don't apply to where we're at right now. And because of this mismatch of this elevated conversation, you're trying to apply it to your starting line. There's certain things that you learn, guys. Please understand, there's certain things that you learn in your final lap. And those things that you learn in your final lap are not pertinent to you at the starting gate. Please understand it. Please understand it. And this is the problem. A lot of people want to microwave their success. They want to have the instant shake. They want to have the protein shake instead of eating the meal. I was taught you need to chew your food. I was taught you need to chew your food, right? Because there's nutrients. I was watching a video, and I don't remember the name of the gentleman, but he speaks a little bit vulgar. He's Italian, and he spoke about a banana. And he said, I've been eating bananas for days. It was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan, right? So Joe Rogan's podcast, Italian gentleman talking about a banana. He said, I've been eating bananas every day, and I've been losing weight. He said, however, I felt like, the young kids are talking about puree and blending and shake. So I decided to put the banana in a shake. He said his glycemic chart, his stuff went off the charts. Like, he said his insulin levels went through the roof. And he said, when you put a banana in a shake and you do it like you put it through that process, it's basically no longer a banana. It becomes something else. It takes on an additional property. And that additional property had harmful effects on him. Now, I'm using an analogy. I'm using an analogy for you trying to learn something and build your business. There's some morals, values, and principles, main word principles. There's some things you need to learn, but you need to learn them in a processed manner. It takes time is what I'm trying to say. Don't try to fast forward the process or blend the process. Do you understand? And if you are going to have your process expedited, make sure that you have the proper guide or expert to help you. Because if you don't, listen to me very closely. A lot of people are making this mistake. If you don't, you're going to find yourself midway to the top of Mount Rushmore or the Himalayan mountains with someone who isn't qualified to be a Sherpa. And they're not going to be able to take you further up the mountain nor will they be able to help you down.
I think about my clients and what I do as a CFO, because a lot of them confuse, and this is just to illuminate the analogy a little bit more, why you need to have the right person. A lot of times people think a CPA does what a CFO does, and they just don't. Like, we master finance and your CPA masters compliance. And a lot of times I see people getting coaches or consultants that master the what needs to be done instead of the how it needs to be executed. And when you are stuck with all of this, what to do, you find yourself with no ability to execute. And if you haven't heard or realized, execution is what gets results, not knowing what to do. And it's very frustrating for a lot of people that have invested tens of thousands of dollars in understanding what they needed to do that they could have read in a book, that they get to their next coaching experience and they're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be told what to do again. Can someone, for goodness sakes, show me how it's done? And that's just something that I think Shaan has really shown me, is like right now, real time. He didn't tell me, oh, just drink water and all of this other stuff. He said, yeah, drink water. Oh, and by the way, stand by. 7 a.m. is coming. 7 a.m. is coming. And that's what I believe a real process looks like, when the coach cares one, but is also willing to show you how you're supposed to do this and not just what you're supposed to do.
Case in point. Bobby would have been fine with the keynote. He'd have been great with the keynote. Bobby would have been great with the 3-day workshop. But a podcast every single day except for Sunday, for years, months, and days. You got to be put under the kind of pressure that's going to put a chink in your armor, guys, or you'll never know what you're built for, really. Right? It's the difference between theoretical and applicable, what Bobby's talking about. Now, is theory important? I love this discourse. I love this conversation, because I have a evidence-based background. An evidence-based background means that a lot of what is present in the theoretical discussion, in the conceptual discussion, is applicable. But it hasn't been proven yet. So let me help you understand something. I've got 3 master's degrees. So I've got a master's of arts and 2 masters of science. And I am so concrete and applicable that the master's in arts was harder than the master's of science. For most people, the master of arts would have been easier because it's more theoretical. It's more conceptual. The scientific part is applicable. It's more hands-on. It's the difference between a PhD and a PsyD. A PhD is introducing a body of knowledge to the world. That's what a PhD is. It's an original body of knowledge. A PsyD is an applicable work that can be utilized to get a desired outcome into the marketplace or into the world. One is a book, one is a blueprint for how to do something. I come from a much more applicable background than a lot of people. So to show you where this shows up, it shows up when you're having a conversation with someone who's never worked with you before. And they tell you that I've worked with 10 coaches and I've been in 5 different courses. And I'm still stuck. And no one ever comes to me in a state of I've never worked with anyone. We just don't live in that world. Everyone that I work with has been through courses, have been through coaches, have been through programs. Like LaWanna's talking about, it's the difference between running a 10K and a marathon. The training plan for mindset, strength, and endurance are completely different. Now watch this, LaWanna and everybody else. The person who's giving the instructions may never have run a lap. That's the gap. The person who's see, he doesn't know what happens at the on the fifth mile. The theoretical person has no clue what takes place. He knows what he's heard. He knows what he read. And he tells you that as if it's factual. And because you're getting your information from an unquantifiable source, a place that isn't evidence-based, a person who's theoretical and not applicable, you don't know what happens at the fifth mile. And a lot of times you're improperly prepared and you're improperly informed. So when you get to the fifth mile and your knees begin to buckle and bend the wrong way and your ankles begin to swell, a lot of times you'll find that the instructor's information doesn't work. And what they told you doesn't work. And that's what a lot of people are finding out in the marketplace. Like, wow, I was told to just go live. And because I just went live, clients would come to me or create a program. And because I created a program, I don't tell people create programs. I tell people get ideas and bring ideas into the marketplace and find out if they're viable by selling them. And if someone buys your idea, if enough people buy your idea, then it's viable. It becomes it becomes quantifiable. Before that, you don't know if it's qualifiable because it's just an idea. But this is the thing. If you spend 10K, 20K, 30K on creating a program that you haven't brought to the marketplace and gotten proof of, no evidence, no proof of theory, then you might be spending 50K in 2 years creating something that nobody wants.
Yeah, and I remember that it was that process that saved me so much money. I went out into the marketplace and I started selling things out of the gate, out of the gate. And by selling out of the gate, what I learned was that it's harder to give something away for free sometimes than it is to sell it. And that's what I think is a good learning curve for a lot of people. So when people come to me and they're like, yo, I want to build a business, I want to see if something sells, I tell them, go give it away for free. And that's when you start to see the real marketing challenges, the real sales challenges, the real buyers are liars reality, right? Somebody will tell you that they'll show up to something that's free and still not show up. So how many people do you think are going to tell you they're going to pay for something that they have the money and know what happens? And when you start going through that process and you start realizing, wow, this is really an interesting game, I think that's where you start to get in touch with reality. And once you get in touch with reality, you start becoming the person you need to be to deal with reality. And that's where the results came from for me.
What's the difference? What's the evidence-based difference? The evidence-based difference is that there's a lot of people that are still conceptual, still working on their course, still working on writing the book, still working on their script, on perfecting their speech. And then there's Bobby, who did 400% revenue increase year after year after year. Do the work. Get in the marketplace, introduce yourself to people, make some mistakes, experience some failures, enjoy some failures, bounce back from some failures, work with someone who has some results for real, and ask them what you should do at your stage. I always find it interesting when people ask me what book I'm reading. What difference does it make what book I'm reading? It doesn't make a difference what book I'm reading, because if you read the book that I'm reading, it probably won't help you at all. It's not the book that you need to read. What people need to ask me is, I'm at this stage, Shaan, I've made this much money, I've got this level of education, and my next goal is to do this. What book should I be reading? Ask me that question. Most people will just tell you what they're reading, and then you'll go buy the book and wonder why you're not getting the result. So the value of the question will determine the value of the answer. I try to give a person something that they can use now in real time. So what I'm going to tell you on this, at this moment, this 7:58 moment before we close this show, what I'm going to tell you is something that you can use today to bring in revenue right now. How would you like that? Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. How would you like for me to tell you something that you can use right now, no matter where you are in your business, that will help you bring money, real tangible evidence, proof of theory in the form of liquid and economy into your business right now? Okay, we got some buyers. Very good. Here we go. It's going to be real simple. Go sell something. Go sell something. Go have a conversation with someone. And don't give them your spiel. Ask questions. As a matter of fact, ask open-ended questions so you can get data, right? So you can get data, so you can get information on what they really need. And then based on that data, you can find out whether you even have what they need. Because what we have is a bunch of misprescriptions and misdiagnoses, because people are coming with the predisposed diagnosis for a problem that someone doesn't even have. You don't know the problem well enough. You don't know the ideal client well enough to know what their problem is. So you're trying to sell anything that you can think of to anyone that you can find. That's unethical, for God's sakes. The first thing that we learned in the American Psychological Association is do no harm. So the first thing you need to do, the most critical skill that you need to learn, is how to listen. How to listen. Put your fingers on the person's pulse and ask them, what problems are you dealing with right now? If you're a business coach or someone in business, what problems are you dealing with in your business right now? If you're a health coach and a wellness coach, what problems are you dealing with in your health right now? Don't come with the diagnosis. Don't come with the preconceived idea. Don't even come with your opinions and suppositions and assumptions, because we are biased. If you're a religion coach or in spirituality, don't come with your ideas about God. Ask them, what problems, what complications, what frustrations are you having in your spirituality right now? And based on the data that comes to you, you'll be able to determine whether or not you even have something that helps. And if you determine that you do, help them. The way trust leads to the sale. And the way to build trust is what I'm doing with you right now. I am helping you. I'm helping you. And I guarantee it beyond no shadow of a doubt, if you do this today, then you'll be able to come back on Monday and say, Shaan, I made my first sale. Or I made my 10th sale, or I made my 20th sale. Stop thinking. Start asking questions and start listening to people's problem. And then just solve the problem. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. It has been a phenomenal Friday again. Tomorrow we will not be on at 7 a.m. We will be here at what day? What time? 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. Let's grow. Bobby, hold it down. Ginger, lemon, and honey. Let's grow.